So I present myself, I'm Gabriele Goffredo.
Anna Matos, and we are very happy to share with you very nice information.
We will going to talk about on the principle of the book, and we will start with the samba. Now, general, what we will going to talk about is the changing that we see and we did in all the years. One thing that's changing a lot in the years and is the body. So, correct?
Exactly. The biggest development in dancing that is very much visible is the body, the usage of the body, the actions that normally in the past the dancer were not using so obviously.
So I think we are ready to start.
Yes, we are ready to start. So we'll speak about as you understand, about the body actions and the coordination between the body, the hip, the knee and the feet, the legs and the feet.
So what I would love to say first is that as you all know, in Latin American dance we use very much the hip action as a rotation, and all the design that we have, we use it a lot. What's the good news for you, the one that hears these things first time, is that you can use the body action and the same like you use the hip action. So you can have the same design, the same diagonally, the same things that you have in the hip action. What already Anna says would be really nice is to combine both of them together, body and hip.
So guys, what we'll do? We'll, first of all, the most important thing in all this lecture that we'll do, we'll ask all of you to be careful about number one. As in ballroom, number one is the posture. So what I will ask everybody is exactly like in the posture, in the ballroom, to have really good posture. Good posture means to be straight, to have an alignment between the ears, the shoulders, and the hip and your feet. So this is very important, to have this line, straight line. If you have the wrong posture, it will not be possible to work with the actions, with the body actions, to put these actions in, okay? And this is number one. Number two, what we'll do, as is written in the book, yes, we'll divide our body in three parts. Yeah, we speak about the upper part of the body.
Yeah. So, can I use you?
Yes, exactly.
So, this is very important to know because, for example, to myself and Anna, it was difficult to understand when teacher was talking about the body action, really which part we not understand. Now, with experience and studying all this, we can start to divide all the things. So, we divide the part in three parts, the body in three parts, sorry. So, if I will ask Anna to...
Exactly.
Beautiful. So, the first part is the shoulder. So, it's like we put one line, as you can see in the book, here. And that's the first part, which is the shoulder part. Yeah? Now, the second part is start here and finish here, the torso. Okay? As you can see in the book. And the last part is going from here to here is the lower torso. Okay? So, I repeat. Shoulder, we call A. Second part, torso, we call it B. Last part, C, is the lower torso. Guys, this, ladies and gentlemen, this is very important to know. Why? I will start to say this and be careful. The first part, the shoulder part, we don't need it really to use our body action. This part has to be the most beautiful as possible, as you can see. My beautiful wife.
So that's why we call it the beauty part.
So we call it the beauty part. Thank you very much. Yeah. The second part is one of the most important. So especially here. Okay. So the torso part is working very much to have all the body action that we were going to talk about. So this part we always call the engine of our body. Everything regarding the body, it starts from this part. Everything is starts from this part. Yeah? The upper part and the lower dorsal, it's always the reaction for what we are doing on the B zone. Now, the last part, which is the low dorsal, is a reaction of the center part, of the engine. Yeah? This is very important. Yes?
Exactly. And what we'll try to explain you that before we'll start to use our body in relation to the hips and the legs, we'd like to give you some advices, very important advices. As the body actions is something that developed in the last years, I think that the best thing will be to exercise, to improve the movement of your body. And we have a lot of exercises for that, yes? When our body will be ready, then we can apply this, we can connect it with the hips and the legs.
So, as Anna says, the exaggeration is the key to put in your body and muscles memory a new movement. Yeah? We will give to you many exercises which we also did that help us really to understand how to use the body action in our dance.
So we'll start with the first exercise. Exercise number 1. As Gabri explained, the most important thing, we'll speak about the zone B. Yes, the torso zone. The torso zone is the engine of our body. What we'll do? We'll try to move the rib cage, our rib cage, in this case the right rib cage, diagonally forward, and then we'll try to go in, and then the left rib cage diagonally forward, and then we'll try to go in. And the most important thing when you exercise all these exercises, what I would like, if you see Gabri, the A zone is not moving. What is very important is rule. How much I go outside, so much I go in. How much I go outside, so much I go in.
This we can see also in this part of the body. So what Anna says, you go forward, let's say 30%, now you go backward 30%. These rules you will also find out, we will give you advice and for you will be more logical. Also when you use your hip, if you do a number 8 on your hip, you go forward 30%, you will go backward 30%. If you go, for example, 10% forward, 30% backward, you will destroy your position. So it's the same rules in your body. So
what we'll try to do, we'll try to execute this with the slow music, then with the normal music, and then we'll go ahead. Yes?
Un paso me voy para siempre, un paso fuerte, un paso hacia adelante. Cuando verás, y ese comienza, y tú matas. Cuando verás, un día ojalá.
Exercise number 2, the one that is also we think that is very important, is the rotation, full circle of the body in one direction and full circle of the body in other direction. It's very important because actually in our days, I will make just one example, we can use different design, as Gabri said, yes. And if we need to use to dance and lockstep, yes, in samba, there is also possibility to dance the lockstep in samba using a design of the full rotation of the body, yes, so full circle. So therefore, what we'll try to do, we'll bend the legs and we'll go to exercise number 2. Again, using the body in all directions. Means forward with the rib cage, side, backward, side, forward, side, backward, side, forward, side, backward, side. And now what we'll try to do is to connect it. To connect the movement in all directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And what we'll try to do also in another direction, we'll go forward, side to the left, backward, side, forward, side, backward,
and
side.
close all the point. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5, 6 and 7, 8. So, ladies and gentlemen, also in this exercise you need to be careful about some points which are very important. You're going forward, you try to do your maximum forward. You go inside, you do maximum side. You go backward, maximum backward. You go left side, you do maximum to the left side. Now, when you're doing faster, you have to try to reach all the part in the same way as you're doing the other. So, will not be correct to do this like that on the place, because as you can see the video, again the shoulder will start to move and the movement will not be clear. So what you have to try to do is to do your maximum to all parts you are moving. And then when you close all the parts, you touch all the point, even faster, you have to try to maintain the same way as the other. Okay? This is very important.
And we'll try with the music. So
Yes,
yes?
music please. And start. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Un paso me voy para siempre, un paso fuerte, un paso hacia adelante.
4,
Dos pasos me voy sin mirarte, tan lejos piense.
I'm going to show to you more faster.
Cinco pasos y te
Ready?
veo donde
5, 6, 7, move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, change.
And we go to exercise number 3.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's say that basically this exercise, after you learn to do this, you are almost ready to move in the figure and start to dance. So, let's say that this exercise will help you to understand the coordination also about when you do one step forward, like in cruzado look. Yeah? But before to do that, it will be more easy for you and more clear to understand how this is going to happen on the place, and which part of the body start first, which part of the body is following that, and all the stuff. Yeah. So again, we would like to say that to doing that you have to use a correct posture. This is very important. So let's coming back and close the feet. Yeah. So what you have to try to understand after you reach correct position is that again, the first part, the zone of the shoulder, we don't use it. So as Anna explained to you, the first exercise that you move forward with your rib cage and the left rib cage. So what you have to understand is that you have to use the torso zone. Okay? Our advice is always to don't use that together. So we need to divide the body in two parts in that way. We will start with the right side. So what we have to do first is to use the right rib cage out. Now take your finger, pushing the bottom of the rib cage, the right rib cage, and pushing in. What you will start really to feel is that the most you're pushing the bottom, the most your hip, it will start to be forward. Okay? So this is already a first question. If you use the body in the correct way, you will have much more rotation of your hip. So we will try again. Extend your body out the right side. You're pushing the bottom on the hip. So we understand that start to be rib cage is number 1 and the hips is number 2. Okay? Now we are talking about samba. So we have the principle, which is the bounce. So directly after that we need to bend the knees. So we will try again. Extend, pushing the bottom, the hip will go forward, and we will start to bend the right knees. So we learn another things. Rib cage, hip, knees. After we are on that position, what we're going to do, go neutral with your body, and now we have to change the weight to the other side, to the left. So we will use the foot to going again. Up, pushing down, going up and extend the left side. Yeah? So, advice is that when you do this exercise, you need to use ball of the foot with the heels up. So, every time you use one side, the left side for example, you push in the rib cage, you use the knees, you bending the knees down, you using the foot, and now you change again to the other foot. Okay? So
actually, the principle that we will use always from now on will be: number 1 is the rib, number 2 is the hips, number 3 is the knee, and number 4 is the foot. Yes? So we'll do always body, hip, knee, foot. Body, hip, knee, foot.
Music, please.
Un paso me voy para
Ready?
siempre.
5,
Un paso
6,
fuerte.
7, 1,
Un paso hacia
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1,
Los pasos me voy
1, 2,
sin
3,
mirarte.
4, 1,
Tan lejos
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
Faster.
4 pasos quiero acordarme. 4
5,
pasos
6,
me
7,
hace.
1,
Me quisiste,
3,
yo te
4,
hice.
5, 6, 7, 8, 1,
5 pasos
2,
ya
3,
sin
4,
perderme.
5,
Tanto me
6, 7,
alegré.
8. One thing, important thing is that all these 3 exercises would be nice to connect, to dance it in connection. And this will be a biggest help. So I don't want that we depend on each other. We have to coordinate our action with our partner. So that means we have to synchronize the movement. Yes? This will be my request. We'll have our position like that, yes? Or normally how we are used to practice. We are
Is
used
the finger.
Yeah, we used
The
to practice
magic
like
finger.
this. The magic finger, yes? We don't depend on each other. And we'll go with the exercise with the music.
Y cuando volverás, si tú más no vas,
Second exercise.
y por mi cuando volverás, un día o jamás.
And third exercise.
As Gabriel explained you before, everything that we are doing with the hips, we can execute with our body. The actions that we are normally can execute with our body are the squeeze, the rotation, the translation, inclination and sway, extension and flexion, and contraction. All these we can use while we are moving.
And we will find in the next figure that we are going to do.
The samba whisk to the left and to the right.
So we divide in 2 parts. First, Anna will explain to you how the figure is written in the book, and after we will go more to the details and of course in the body action.
Samba whisk to the left. We'll have left foot to the side. We'll recover the body. Right foot across behind the left foot. Part weight on the right foot. Left foot in place. Weight on the left foot. And the same thing, samba whisk to the right. So we'll do. And right foot to the side. We'll recover the body. Left foot across behind the right foot. Part weight on the left foot. Right foot in place. Weight on the right foot. The general actions, we have a side walk, then we have a Latin cross with the part weight, then we have weight transfer in place with the Latin cross. So, side walk, Latin cross with part weight, weight transfer in place, Latin cross. The foot work, we have ball flat, show, ball flat, and ball flat, show, ball flat. And we'll count, we can count. 1, up, 2, 1, up, 2. Or slow, up, slow, slow, paso. So now we'll try it with the slow music.
Quiero acordarme, 4 pasos ya sé. Tú me quisiste, yo te quise. Sí.
So, ladies and gentlemen, now let's go more deep in the whisk and explain to you very well with all the details. Now, let's go on to understand how we use the body action here and coordinate it with the hip and the action that we have in the whisk. Let's start with the whisk to the right. So what is very, very important to understand is that every time you do a figure that you start, especially in a static position, you do a really well wind up. So what we're going to do with our body is to create the first exercise that we give to you, so the rib, hip, knees, foot. So we're using the body, left body part inside and going in together, bending the leg. So again, you do it. Rib, hip, knees, foot, change the side. So during you change the side, you start to transfer and do the side step. You're doing and 1. So what you have to really be careful to do a really nice here translation with your body, maximum to the right. Now what you're going to use is the magic finger here, pushing the button in. The hip will come very much forward, so you have much more rotation than you will have if you just use your hip. So here, pushing the button and going to straight, almost straight the knees. Then you will go with left leg backward, and what you have to try to do now is to using left part of the body in and go out again with your right side. We can connect directly here the whisk to the left. So again, we will have a really, really huge wind up to the right, collect the leg, come back neutral, side step with huge translation. Now you're going in again with your body, going, start to stretch the knees, put the leg backward, and then you use your backward, forward. Ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to try with the slow music. 7, 1, up, 1, up, 1, up, 1, up. And now we're going to do with faster version.
After you synchronize your body, you coordinate your own body. Now we're gonna try it together in the couple. And the same rules. Rule
No
number
disturbing.
1, no disturb. We'll try to do the same thing. No pressure, minimum pressure. And we'll try to synchronize the actions together. So we'll do and. 1 and. Up, 2. And. 1 and. Up, 2. We'll try it with the music.
Thank you very much for your attention. Hope that you are enjoying, and this knowledge will help you in your dancing, and we'll see you with the next dance.
Thank you very much.